Today, we're on the case of a major disappearance. Something that used to be a fundamental part of working life. Something that promised a clear path forward has, well, it's just vanished. We're talking about the career ladder. And I'm guessing you felt it, right? You reach for that next rung and you just find empty air.
Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the world our parents or grandparents knew. A guy starts in the mailroom, and 15 years later, he's a VP. The path was clear, it was real. Now look at today. You're a contract worker, probably hired through some other company with no benefits, no training, and zero path upward. The ladder wasn't just broken, it was sold for parts.
And that's the big question, isn't it? What happened to the ladder? Because this thing didn't just slowly rust away, it was taken down piece by piece. So let's follow the clues and figure out where it went and what exactly we're left with now. Okay, so before we can solve the case, we have to know what we're looking for. What did this old system, this ladder, actually look like when it was still around?
The whole thing was built on this idea called the internal labor market. You can basically think of it as a promise. A company would say, look, we'll hire you, we'll invest in you, we'll train you, and we'll show you a clear path up. You give us your loyalty, and we'll give you security. And it worked. It was just smart business back then.
And you can see that promise in the numbers. Back in 1983, the average person stayed at their job for 7 years. Think about that. That's long enough to actually learn the ropes, get good at what you do, and, climb a few rungs. The whole system was built for the long haul. And now, look at today. By 2022, that average has been chopped almost in half, down to just 4 years. That is a massive, massive drop. It's basically the sound of that old agreement between companies and workers just shattering completely.
So we've established the ladder was real, and we've established that now it's gone. Which brings us to the most important part of the investigation. Who or what is responsible? Who took the ladder down?
Well, the evidence points to 3 main suspects, 3 big management ideas that came along and, together, completely dismantled the old way of doing things. We're talking about delayering, outsourcing, and a new obsession with hiring from the outside. Let's take them one by one.
First up, delayering. The idea sounded great, right? Let's make companies leaner and more agile by getting rid of all that middle management. But what they were really getting rid of were the rungs on the ladder. Middle managers were the people who mentored you, who trained you, who were the next step. Take them away, and suddenly there's this giant impossible leap from a junior role to a senior one.
And the result? One of our sources put it perfectly. The ladder was replaced with a greased pole. Yeah, suddenly there was nothing to hold on to. You could try to scramble your way up, but most people just slid right back down. A predictable climb turned into this desperate, slippery mess. Then came the next culprit. Outsourcing. Companies started dividing their employees into 2 camps, core and non-core. The core people, the essential ones, got to keep their jobs and careers. But everyone else, from IT to HR to the folks in customer service, they got pushed out. They became contractors. And by 2015, a whopping 16% of the workforce wasn't on any ladder at all. They were just stuck in a permanent temp job. And this third move is what really turned everything on its head. Companies decided it was better to hire new leaders from outside instead of promoting the people they already had. And this created this totally backwards set of incentives. All of a sudden, staying loyal to your company meant getting a tiny 3% raise. But leaving, hopping to a new job, that could get you a 20% salary bump and a brand new title. The system actually started to reward people for being disloyal.
Okay, so the ladder is gone. It's been taken apart. So what are we left with? Well, it's not a better ladder. It's something else. Something much, much messier. This really says it all. The ladder was simple. It was linear. The web, this thing we have now, is pure chaos. It's totally unpredictable. Success isn't just about being good at your job and being loyal anymore. No, now it's about who you know, how good you are at selling yourself, and honestly, a whole lot of luck. You don't climb anymore. You just kind of jump from one lily pad to the next and hope you land on a better one. And to deal with this new chaotic web, we got a whole new philosophy to go with it: hustle culture. You know the drill. Be your own CEO. Build your personal brand. Just grind harder. Optimize yourself. And, manifest your own opportunities. But here's the thing. Here's the big problem with that idea. All the hustle in the world doesn't matter if there's no structure to plug into. Opportunities don't just appear out of thin air because you worked an 80-hour week. They have to exist within the company. You can't hustle your way up a ladder that isn't there.
And this isn't just some abstract business school theory. The collapse of the career ladder has had real serious consequences for millions of people, for the companies they work for, and for all of us, really.
Let's go back to that 16% number for a second. That's a huge slice of our workforce. Some economists call them the precariat. People living in this permanent state of being precarious, no safety net, no security, and absolutely no path forward. Just jumping from one gig to the next, hoping to make rent.
And this quote, man, this one really hits home. It captures that deep, sinking feeling of it all. It's that dawning horror when you've been working your tail off for years, and you look around and realize you're not actually getting anywhere. You're not moving up. You're just getting older. And this right here explains so much of the tension we see between generations in the workplace. Older workers who actually had a ladder to climb see job hopping as a sign of being flaky or disloyal. But for younger generations, staying put in one place for too long feels completely irrational. The only way to get ahead is to get out. And you know what? They're both right. They're just describing two completely different realities.
So we've looked at the evidence. We've identified the suspects. We've seen the consequences. And that brings us to the final part of our investigation, the verdict, the uncomfortable truth.
And here it is. This is the big takeaway. The career ladder didn't just fall into disrepair. It didn't become obsolete. It was taken down. Deliberately, systematically, on purpose. But why? Why would they do that? Well, from a certain point of view, it made perfect sense. It gave companies way more flexibility, it cut their labor costs way down, and most importantly, it transferred all the risk of building a career, the risk of planning for the future, off of the company's books and squarely onto the shoulders of the individual worker. This whole situation, it's not a bug in the new economy, it's a feature.
And so that leaves us all with a pretty big question. We know the ladder's gone. We know why it's gone. So what do we do now? Do we try to build something new, some other structure that provides a path forward? Or do we just keep scrambling around in the chaos, pretending that we're still climbing?